So I am Ted Kadet, practice in Bellevue, Washington, and we have satellite clinics in Tacoma and Silverdale, so basically the greater Seattle area.
All right, so Dr. Kadet, how has Vivid Vision helped your practice?
Well, I think Vivid Vision has been absolutely a game changer. And it's been a game changer because we now finally have been able to break suppressions in post-surgical adult strabs and other types of patients where before it was just darn near impossible to break down that suppression. And at that point, you've got them binocular in a virtual world. They'll eventually go diploptic in the real world, and depending on the amount of angle, you either work that out or send them out for one more surgery. And we've had a number of patients that have achieved wonderful binocular vision, moving it from the virtual world to the real world.
Excellent. So how has the Vivid Vision system assisted the actual therapy program you have with your patients?
Well, it's, again, given us a real significant tool to be able to handle patients that before we simply had no way of breaking down that suppression. I look at it as if you think you're in danger, and you really are in danger, your body's going to react the same way. You're going to go into sympathetic fight or flight. And I think the same thing works here in that the brain doesn't know the difference between a virtual world and a real world. So if you can get binocular vision going in the virtual world, then you can ultimately move it to the real world. And that's where this has been so helpful.
Great. So what are some things you would want your optometric colleagues who maybe don't have Vivid Vision yet in their practice, what would you want them to know about Vivid Vision?
Well, I'd want them to know that it definitely is an extremely valuable tool. It opens up treatment for patients that otherwise you probably would not tackle. And the support's been great. The equipment and hardware and everything has worked very, very well. Whenever there are issues, you guys have been great in providing support, getting things back online, and you're constantly updating the programs and offering new games and so forth to add to the armamentarium we have in the program itself.
Thanks so much for sharing some of your insight.
My pleasure.